She spilled coffee on a stranger and thought she ruined her career. But that stranger, he turned out to be her billionaire boss. What started with a stain turned into stolen glances, elevator confessions, and one brutal twist that nearly broke her. Until the truth came knocking on her door. Literally. If you've ever doubted second chances or wondered if real love still exists in this messy world, this story will change how you see everything. What would you have done in Ivy's shoes? Drop a comment below. Subscribe now for more drama-filled stories that hit you right in the heart. Because sometimes, one spilled coffee can rewrite your whole future. New York City, Monday, 8:01 a.m. Ivy Walker was running late. And not the cute rom-com kind of late, more like if I don't make this meeting, I'll be unemployed before lunch kind of late. She zigzagged through the crowd, outside Bennett Global headquarters, clutching a scalding hot coffee in one hand, and her half-buttoned blazer flapping in the breeze like a flag of surrender. The sidewalk was a blur. Her brain repeated one mantra, first day, don't screw it up, don't screw it up. The revolving doors spun open. She bolted inside. Security barely noticed the tornado of panic and caffeine in heels as she made a beeline for the elevator. Fingers shaking, she jabbed the UP button. Ding! She leapt in. And then, fate took over. Her left heel slid on the polished elevator floor. Slip, twist, chaos. Her coffee flew. The lid popped off midair, and 16 ounces of piping hot dark roast made a perfect arc. Right into the crotch of the only other person in the elevator. Dead. Center. Time stopped. Ivy gasped. Her heart dropped into her stomach, her soul already halfway to hell. The man looked down. The coffee soaked through his expensive slate-gray trousers with horrifying speed. Steam. Silence. Her brain tried to reboot. Instead, her mouth blurted, "Oh, no, 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 I'm fired, aren't I?" Still silent. The man slowly looked up. He was tall, maybe 6'2", clean shave, jawline sharp enough to slice glass. His expression, somewhere between stunned and amused. Then finally he spoke, dry, flat, dangerous. "Well, at least buy me dinner first." Ivy blinked. Twice. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to. I wasn't watching where I was." He didn't flinch, didn't move, just casually pulled a folded handkerchief from his inner jacket pocket and dabbed the front of his soaked pants. "I'll pay for dry cleaning," she stammered. "Or therapy. Or pants. Just say a number." He finally met her eyes. This is definitely not how most people introduce themselves. Ivy looked like she wanted the elevator floor to open and swallow her whole. "This is my first day," she whispered, as if that somehow made it better. The man raised an eyebrow. Lucky me. The elevator dinged. As the doors opened, the man gave her one final glance, half amused, half unreadable. "Try not to set anyone else on fire today." He stepped out. The doors slid shut. The moment Ivy stepped into the boardroom, she felt it. That pull. Like gravity had shifted. Like the walls suddenly leaned in. Like air got heavier. There he was, at the head of the table, calm, poised, caffeinated. Max Bennett, the man she had baptized in dark roast 30 minutes earlier. And now he was the CEO leading the 8:30 a.m. strategy meeting. She froze, mid-step folder, clutched to her chest like a bulletproof vest. Their eyes locked. He blinked once. No smirk, no wink, no mercy, just a single brief glance. Like a private joke no one else at the table was in on. She dropped into the first open chair, third seat from the end, farthest from Max. Her ears buzzed. Her palms stuck to the folder. She was pretty sure her soul had left the building. Across the table, he cleared his throat. "Let's begin." The next 42 minutes were a blur of slides, acronyms, and someone named Trent talking about Q2 bounce-back trends. Ivy couldn't focus. Every few minutes, Max would glance over. Just slightly, just enough to paralyze her. Her coffee crime replayed in slow motion, over and over, the splash, the stain, his deadpan face, her screech. She tried to breathe, failed, tried again, failed harder. She felt like a walking HR violation. Then came the break. Everyone stood. Coffee refills, bathroom trips, chatter. Ivy bolted. She didn't wait. She didn't blink. She ran for the restroom like it owed her money. The cool tile hit her like a reset button. She splashed water on her face, whispered to the mirror, "Just survive this one day, that's all. One day, then quit. Move to Alaska. Change your name." She closed her eyes. Knock, knock. Her eyes flew open. That voice again, smooth, amused, and way too close. "So, no apology coffee." She choked on her breath. I'll pay for your dry cleaning, or your therapy, or both." "Do you have a therapist I can Venmo her?" Silence. Then a laugh. Low, short, warm. She hadn't heard him laugh earlier. It hit different now. Less CEO, more something else. "You think I need therapy because you spilled coffee on me," he said from the hallway. She leaned her forehead against the door. "I think I need therapy for spilling it on you." Fair. Beat of silence. "Then I've been baptized in worse. Once got hit with clam chowder on a Delta flight. Boston to Miami." She blinked. "No way. It was scalding. And I still gave that airline 5 stars. Maybe I have a martyr complex." She giggled. It just slipped out. What was happening right now? She opened the door, just a crack. Max stood there, arms crossed, leaning casually against the wall, like he did this every Tuesday. "Listen," he said, lowering his voice. "I know today's probably a nightmare for you, but no one's fired. Yet." Her mouth opened, then closed, then opened again. "I'm sorry I embarrassed you." He raised an eyebrow. "You embarrassed me, Ivy." "I walked into the meeting looking like I'd had a bathroom emergency. You're the hero here for pretending not to notice." She burst out laughing. And for a second, the world tilted back into place. Then he looked at her, really looked at her. Eyes steady, soft, curious. "You're not what I expected. Because I spilled coffee on your pants because you made me laugh before 9 a.m. That's rare." She swallowed. Words failed. Behind them, someone coughed near the hallway. Max straightened. Back to CEO mode. "Get back in there, rookie. Show Trent what real talent looks like." Then he turned and walked away. Like he hadn't just flipped her entire nervous system inside out. Ivy stood frozen in the doorway, her heart a confused mess, her brain buffering. Was that flirting? Was she hallucinating? Was it possible the CEO actually found her? Interesting. She walked back into the meeting room, slower this time. Max was already seated, flipping through slides, like nothing happened. But as she passed him, he didn't look up, didn't move. Except, his hand tapped twice on the table, 2 soft knocks. No rhythm, just a message. And she didn't know what it meant, but she smiled anyway. Ivy tried to disappear. Max Bennett made that impossible. After the coffee incident and the bathroom door conversation, she told herself to stay low, keep quiet, be invisible. But apparently, Max had a radar for chaos in sneakers. It started with emails. Then came the messages on Slack. Then somehow he kept showing up. Every single day. Tuesday, 10:17 a.m. A message pinged. From Max B. "Is the IT room supposed to feel like Antarctica, asking for a friend?" She replied without looking up. "Wear a jacket." CEO. 5 minutes later, he was in the doorway, arms crossed, coffee in hand. "You offering to warm me up, Walker?" She choked on her gum. Wednesday, 3:42 p.m. Another message, this one, bolder. "Think I lost internet upstairs. Might need a tech emergency. Or maybe, I just want you to come upstairs." She stared at the screen. "Are you flirting and faking outages?" He replied with a shrug emoji. She didn't go up. Not that day. But she thought about it. A lot. Thursday, 7:06 p.m. Everyone else had gone home. The floor was dead quiet. Ivy was buried in cables under someone's desk, trying to fix a networking bug that wouldn't die. Suddenly lights flickered, then darkness. The entire floor shut down. Power out. Generators groaned. Elevators clunked. Her phone buzzed. "You good, Max?" She texted back. "Still alive. Trapped on 27. Trying to find my dignity." 3 minutes later, a flashlight beam swept across the hallway. "Max," he grinned. Power outage or destiny? I'm voting sabotage, she muttered. Standing up. We should take the stairs, she said. He nodded. But then the elevator dinged, back online. Max looked at her. She hesitated. He smirked. They stepped in. Bad decision. 10 seconds in the elevator groaned, then stopped, mid-floor. No lights, just silence, darkness. Her heart pounded. Oh, come on, she whispered. Max chuckled in the dark. You jinxed it. Do not tell me we're trapped. We're trapped, he confirmed cheerfully. Ivy pressed the emergency button. No answer. Her breath sped up. She hated enclosed spaces, hated being stuck, hated the fact that her heartbeat doubled every time he spoke. I swear if I panic again, and punch you, she muttered. It's not personal. Silence, then his voice. If you do, I might enjoy it. She didn't laugh. Not at first. Then it slipped out, sharp, sudden, ridiculous. It echoed in the elevator like a confession. Time stretched. She sat on the floor. So did he. I hate elevators, she admitted. I always imagine they'll drop. They don't, he said. How do you know? Because you're in it with me. I'd never let that happen. She blinked. Couldn't see his face, but the words sat there between them. Warm, still, real. I Googled you, she blurted. He laughed. Stalker. You're on Forbes, and Wikipedia, and some BuzzFeed list called CEO Daddies. Now he really laughed. That is disturbing. But also, she continued, you didn't mention your last company burned down. Because it didn't, he said. It just imploded. She turned her head in the dark. Still hurts. He was quiet for a beat. Every day, he said. And suddenly, the air wasn't flirty anymore. It was honest and heavy, and something else. I was engaged, he added. She blinked. He beat her to the question. She left. 6 weeks before the wedding. Ivy didn't know what to say, so she whispered, I was ghosted, mid-Zoom. He turned to her. Seriously, I was in the middle of screen sharing a spreadsheet. Guy disappeared. Max let out a breath. Brutal. Yeah. Silence. Then, maybe we both suck at love, she said. He paused. Or maybe we just hadn't met each other yet. The elevator shuddered, then moved. Lights flicked back on. She scrambled to her feet, brushing off her jeans, pretending she hadn't just almost cried in the dark with a billionaire. As the doors opened, he leaned closer. Next time, he said, let's get stuck in the break room. At least there's snacks. She rolled her eyes. I'm charging you for emotional damage. He grinned. Send me the invoice. I'll pay in dinner. It all fell apart at 9:03 a.m. The office was buzzing like any other Thursday. Ivy had just finished rebooting the finance team's cloud backups and was halfway through her second cup of hazelnut coffee decaf because her nerves were still recovering from that elevator date 2 nights ago. She hadn't seen Max since, but she felt him lingering in text glances and in that unspoken electricity that still buzzed every time his name appeared in her inbox. Everything was steady until she walked in, tall, red lipstick, a high ponytail that screamed money and control. A woman strutted through the front doors of Bennett Global like she owned the building. Her heels didn't just click, they announced themselves. She headed straight for Ivy's desk, arms crossed, a leather folder clutched tight. Ivy stood confused. Hi, can I? The woman cut her off, smiling, the way sharks smile. You must be the new intern Max is obsessed with. Ivy blinked. Sorry, who are you? I'm his fiancée. The words hit like a punch to the ribs. No warning, no build-up. Just a detonation. The woman didn't flinch, didn't hesitate. She leaned closer, voice low and sweet and deadly. Don't flatter yourself. Max plays with new toys every quarter. You're just this month's version. Ivy said nothing. Her throat closed. Her hands trembled. Her coffee cup tilted slightly in her grip. I came to drop these off, the woman added, slapping the folder onto Ivy's desk. Prenup revisions. Not that you'd understand. With one last smile, a slow, venomous smirk, the woman turned and walked off. The office was silent. Someone at the nearby desk pretended to type. Another looked away awkward. Ivy stood frozen. Max wasn't there. Of course he wasn't. That night she packed up her desk. The USB drive. The charger. The potted plant she'd only watered twice. She didn't cry. Not yet. She typed a single sentence on a Word doc, printed it, and walked into Max's office. It was dark, empty, like none of this had happened. She placed the paper on his desk, right next to his custom fountain pen, the one she'd borrowed once during a meeting. Then she left, for good. The note said, "Thank you for teaching me the difference between attention and affection." The elevator ride down felt endless. 34 floors of heartbreak, humiliation, and memories she didn't want. Her phone buzzed 3 times max. She didn't check. Didn't need to. What was there to say? Outside, the New York sky looked colder, bigger, like it didn't care. And for the first time since moving to the city, neither did she. Meanwhile, Max walked into the office late. He'd been in back-to-back calls with investors on the West Coast. As he passed the front desk, a security guard gave him a weird look. He ignored it, kept moving, until he reached his office and saw the note. Just 10 words, but they hit like a sledgehammer. He didn't sit, didn't breathe. He scanned the room like she might still be hiding behind the chair. "Walker," he shouted into the hallway. No answer. He pulled out his phone. 3 missed texts to her. No response. He dialed again. Voicemail. He called his assistant. "Where's Ivy Walker?" "She quit last night," she said, confused. "Didn't she tell you?" He didn't respond. He was already grabbing his coat. He found her. 48 hours after Ivy walked out of Bennett Global. Max. Bennett stood outside her apartment building in Queens, jacket damp from the rain, hair a little less perfect, heart pounding in a way he didn't know CEOs were capable of. He shouldn't have known where she lived, but he did. Pulled it from HR. Might have bent a few internal policies. Definitely sounded like a lawsuit waiting to happen. But he didn't care. He stood at the front door, holding nothing but her note. "Thank you for teaching me the difference between attention and affection." He rang the bell. Upstairs, Ivy was curled on the couch, wrapped in an old college hoodie, binging a baking show she wasn't even watching. The doorbell rang once, then again. She thought about ignoring it, but something told her to get up. She opened the door, and there he was, soaked, breathing hard, eyes full of something fierce and real. "You broke about 5 privacy laws to find me," she said. He didn't smile. "I'd break more if it meant you'd open the door." She didn't know whether to slam it or sob. He held up the note. "You left without letting me explain." Her chest tightened. "Your fiancé explained everything just fine." Max stepped in slowly, like a man with something to lose. "Ivy." "She's not my fiancé. Not anymore." She folded her arms. "That's not what she said." He exhaled. "We were engaged, over a year ago. I ended it." She didn't take it well. He paused. "She owns shares in the company. That prenup folder power play. She wants leverage, not love." Ivy looked away. "So you just forgot to mention that you had an ex with a keycard and killer heels." He flinched. "I didn't think I needed to." "Why?" His voice lowered. "Because I didn't think I'd fall for someone like you." That stopped her cold. The silence stretched. Then she laughed, bitter. "Someone like me." Her eyes shimmered and her voice cracked. "You mean the girl who spills coffee and panics in elevators? The intern? The backup plan? No," he said quietly. "The girl who made me laugh before I had my coffee. The girl who called me out without blinking. The girl who ruined my pants and then fixed my heart." Ivy's breath caught. The room tilted. He stepped closer. "I didn't tell you, because I was scared. Scared that you'd see how messy my life still is. Scared that I'd screw it up." He paused. "And I did. I screwed it up." She didn't move, didn't speak, just stared. Then quietly, "You hurt me. I know. You made me feel like I was nothing." "You're not. You're everything." His voice cracked then. Just a little. She wiped a tear, tried to laugh, failed. "You're really bad at elevator speeches. You know that," he smiled. "I'm better when there's no elevator." She shook her head. "What now?" He reached into his jacket pocket, pulled out a coffee cup. 16-ounce. Hazelnut. Just like hers. "You still owe me this." She took it. Hands touched. And everything stilled. For the first time in days, Ivy breathed. Really breathed. And for the first time in his life, Max felt safe. 2 months later. The elevator doors opened on the 34th floor, just like always. But this time, Ivy Walker wasn't the intern dodging glances. She stepped out in tailored black slacks, a tucked-in silk blouse, and a new company badge that read Technical Assistant to CEO. I Walker, yep. Assistant to the man she once soaked in coffee. Now the man who poured cream in hers every morning. And from the whispers swirling around the break room that morning, everyone knew. She's back, I heard. He flew out to Queens and begged. Bet HR is having a heart attack. They weren't wrong. But Max didn't care. At the quarterly shareholder meeting that day, packed room, media cameras, stiff suits, and expensive smiles, Max Bennett did something no one expected. As he walked on stage to deliver earnings results and projections, he paused, held out his hand. And Ivy. She didn't hesitate. She stood from her front row seat, walked up beside him, and took it, fingers laced, no fear, all in. Max looked out at the crowd, then back at her. This quarter's been unpredictable. But sometimes, the best gains come from unexpected investments. The room laughed politely. But his eyes never left Ivy. And some returns are personal. Later that afternoon, after the meeting, after the applause, after the 100 handshakes, they stood alone in his office. Sunlight poured through the windows. The skyline stretched endlessly outside. He poured coffee into 2 mugs, hazelnut of course, and turned to hand one to her. That's when it happened. The cup slipped. Brown liquid splashed across her cream-colored skirt in a perfect, humiliating arc. Silence. She froze. He froze. Then he dropped his head into his hands. Oh no. She stared down at the spreading stain, then back at him. His eyes peeked through his fingers. We're even now. She raised an eyebrow, slowly, dramatically, not even close. He smirked. How far off? She took a step forward, wiped at the skirt with a paper towel, then looked him straight in the eyes and whispered, You still owe me dinner, and forever. He didn't answer. He just leaned in, forehead to hers, and whispered back, Booked the dinner, working on the forever. The intercom buzzed. His assistant's voice crackled through. Mr. Bennett, CNBC's on line 1 for your post-meeting interview. He clicked the button without looking away from Ivy. Tell them I'm busy. Final scene. Outside the office window, the city roared like always, taxis honking, sirens wailing, life buzzing at high volume. But inside, in that glass-walled room, where chaos had once begun, 2 people stood quietly. A CEO and a girl who used to doubt if she belonged in the room at all. And now she had her name on the door, her coffee on his desk, and his hand in hers. Sometimes the messiest moments in life lead to the most meaningful connections. A spilled cup of coffee, an awkward elevator ride, a misunderstanding that nearly broke 2 hearts. But through it all, this story reminds us that real love doesn't show up perfect. It shows up real, vulnerable, flawed, unscripted. In a world obsessed with image power and curated perfection, the most powerful thing you can do is let someone see you as you are and love them back without filters. Whether you're just starting out, rebuilding from heartbreak, or trying to make your mark in a chaotic world, remember this. The right people won't be scared off by your worst day. They'll show up, stay late, and bring coffee, even when you've already spilled yours. Because love isn't about grand gestures. It's about consistency, courage, and choosing someone even when it's inconvenient. What part of this story hit you the hardest? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that speak to the heart. Because sometimes, all it takes is one story to remind you you're not alone.